I want to give you a hand, and no, not like that, I mean a helping hand for the upcoming Final Fantasy pre-release event. Because let's be real, half of us are going in thinking it's just like Commander, and the other half haven't even played the game yet, let alone build a deck. So if you're wondering what to expect, what colors are strong, or whether you can win just by casting Meteor, this video is for you. Before we dive into the draft cards, let's talk about deck building limited style. In Sealed, you are building a 40 card deck using the cards from 6 booster packs. You are not trying to brew the next tier 1 combo deck. You are trying to survive, stabilize, and hopefully swing for lethal. Each booster gives you 6 to 7 commons, 3 uncommons, 1 mythic or rare, a land, plus 2 wildcards that can be anything and a token that's nothing. Sometimes you'll get a foil instead one of those commons, and yes, that foil can be a rare or mythic, but don't count on it unless your name is Yuna and your luck stat is maxed out. So what do we put in our deck? First we start with 17 lands. That's a golden rule of thumb that just goes in every deck. Congratulations, half the deck is almost ready. 23 non-land cards, which consist of 15 to 17 creatures and 5 to 8 spells. Try to stick to 1 or 2 colors, unless you open some insane fixing. Yes, rainbow decks are fun, but not when you get stuck on mana turn after turn while your opponent casts Odin. Also, just because you love a character doesn't mean their card makes sense in your deck. Don't let nostalgia mess with your win rate. Sorry Tifa. Alright, now we are ready to take a look at the cards, specifically at the ones we are actually likely to pull. Most of our deck will be commons and uncommons, so those are what really matter. Sure, we'll throw in a few rares and mythics, but think of those as bonus rounds. Starting off with red, we got haste magic for 2 mana, instant. Target creature gets +3, +1 and gains haste until end of turn. Exile the top card of your library, you may play it until your next end step. So you can play a creature and give it haste, also buff it and swing for big damage, potentially even lethal. Also, you get to play the card that was exiled of your library, and maybe not the best way to play the card, but might be helpful is also in your opponent's turn, because if you got 2 mana open as an instant, you can play it also in your opponent's turn. You will lose the haste effect, it will not stay until your next turn, but you can buff a creature and make a good trade, not a trump trade, but a good trade, and maybe surprise your enemy. Next is suplex. Also 2 mana, sorcery, choose one. Deal 3 damage to a target creature. If the creature would die this turn, exile it instead, or exile target artifact. Pretty strong, good removal, not bad for a common, put it in. Next we got warrior sword for 4, artifact equipment, job select. We got a lot of those job select, so you will always get a 1/1 colorless hero creature token that will get this equipment attached to it for free. Equipped creature gets +3, +2 and is a warrior in addition to its other types. Equipped for 5 when the creature dies. Then we have a tiered card, Thunder Magic, 1 red and 3 options to choose from, and also choose additional cost. Deal 2 damage, 4 damage or 8 damage. Really useful as an instant if you have some mana open, or you can cast it for free, or you can synergize with those wizards. Pretty good. Then we have Hill Gigas for 6 mana, 5/4, trample haste, and also the cycling ability. Starting the uncommons with Barret Wallace for 4. Legendary creature, you can only have 1 on the board, has reach, which helps you with fighting flying stuff. Whenever Barret Wallace attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player. So that also comes in handy, and has a 4/4 body, so absolutely value for your mana. Next is unexpected request for 3 mana. I shall hereby do my best to kidnap you, and that's what we're doing with this card. It's sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. You may attach an equipment you control to that creature. If you do, untouch it at the beginning of the next end step. So imagine your opponent just puts a big boy on board, you take it over, it gets haste, attach equipment to it and blow him off. Really amazing artwork on random encounter for 6 mana, sorcery, shuffle your library, then mill 4 cards, put each creature card milled this way onto the battlefield, They gain haste. At the beginning of the next end step, return those creatures to the owner's hand. So imagine just to finish your opponent off, or do it even twice if you have the possibility of a flashback as well for 8 mana, but just playing it for 6 and hopefully swing for lethal. You got Opera Love Song for 2 instant. Choose one, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards until your next end step, or 1 or 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 until end of turn. So I included this card because of synergy options. You can of course add +4 attack in this turn, or even activate some Provas action and just surprise the enemy with huge damage. And I think those 4 damage shouldn't be underestimated for those 2 mana as an instant. Plus you have synergy options also with the wizards. And yeah, if you have these synergies available, you have a lot of good red cards, this might be for you. Coral Sword for 1 red. Artifact equipment. Flash. When this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains first strike until end of turn. Equipped creature gets also +1/+0. And the equip costs are pretty cheap for 1. So flash means you can play this card as an instant and surprise your enemy if you have some mana open in his turn or also on your own turn. Pretty good. Fire Magic is a banger for 1 red instant. You can choose 1 additional cost, 0, 2 or 5. So deal 1 damage to each creature, 2 to each, 3 to each. You got a board swipe, that's pretty huge, and yeah, it depends on how much damage you need. It will cost you from 1 to 6. Samurai's Katana is an artifact equipment for 3 mana. Job select as well, so you get a 1/1 colorless hero creature. Attach this to it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has trample and haste, and is a samurai in addition to its other types. Equipped for 5 Murasame. So yeah, we get for 3 mana a 3/3 trample haste creature. That's pretty big, and if the creature dies, we keep the artifact equipment, which has synergy with other stuff, but I'm just going card by card, or I just went by card and took out the best cards that made sense to me to play them value wise and not to depend so much on other cards. Next is Self-Destruct. Target creature you control deals X damage to any other target and X damage to itself, where X is its power. The best scenario is you control a creature that has more toughness than power, so you can just clear an other target. For 2 mana instant, really good, would put it in. Next we got Freya Crescent. Legendary creature, red knight for 1 red, 1/1, has jump during your turn, has flying. Tap it, add 1 red, spend this mana only to cast an equipment spell or activate an equip ability. So for 1 red, you get a flying red with 1/1 that can be used as a mana dog. That means you can use this creature to tap it to get some red mana. Not to spend it for everything, but for useful stuff, at least for a sealed event. This card is pretty huge. I would recommend to put it in. Queen Brane for 3. Legendary creature, human noble, Provas. Provas means whenever you play a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1. Whenever Queen Brane attacks, create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. So we have a lot of cards that will generate us mini VVs, some wizards that deal 1 damage to each opponent. If you got a lot of these cards, you can try to go for synergy. I think general red cards has a lot of good cards, pretty solid, can help you play aggressive and get some board value, even play spells that might be not so value wise, but through those wizards it can make sense, and they will hurt for sure. If you got 2 of those on board and you're swinging with some other creatures and constantly make the damage happen, this might be definitely a worth archetype, and maybe in combination with white, but we will see that when we go to the other cards. But I just wanted to mention it, keep those 0/1 wizards in your head. Van Street Thief. Whenever 1 or more scouts, pirates and or rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You may cast it. If you don't, create a treasure token. So we get a dude for free that creates a treasure token whenever he deals combat damage, or other rogues, pirates, scouts. Has 2/2. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a 1/1 counter on each scout, pirate and rogue you control. So yeah, that would make sense to play the cards. And you exile the top card of that player's library, you generate those 1/1 counters. It's really strong and you get a lot of value if you have some synergy with those creature types. Fire Crystal is one of that is in every color. Not all are very good, at least in this environment, but they might generate you a huge value because they will always reduce all the costs by 1. Creatures you control have haste. Those effects are different for each color, obviously. And for 6 you get a token that's a copy of target creature you control, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So this one's pretty huge to reduce the cost. Creatures you control have always haste and might help you to just swing at your opponent depending on your other cards and kinda the decks of the other guys. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it. You can get value out of it for sure. The haste aspect is huge if you play aggressive. You might not want to play this on turn 4, to be honest, but I just wanted to mention it. Next one is Gilgamesh, Master at Arms. So we arrived at the rares. I'm not sure if we will pull those, but for 4 and 2 red, we get a legendary creature, Human Samurai. This boy is big. Whenever he enters or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of equipment cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you put 1 or more equipment onto the battlefield this way, you may attach one of them to a samurai you control. So when this dude enters, you control him. You can also attach it to him if you have something that gives you haste, for example, or you have already something on the board and you can attach it to a creature that has no summon sickness. You can just go and equip it for free. So I think this boy is really worth it. For 6 you get a 6/6 plus free equipment and attachment, really big. You got Firion, Wild Rose Warrior, legendary creature, Human Rebel Warrior for 3 mana, free equipped creature you control have haste. Also another possibility to help your board to go directly at the opponents, and as you can see we have a lot of stuff in red that is potential threat. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except it has this equipment's equip abilities cost 2 less to activate. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of next upkeep. Can give you a lot of value over your opponent if you play this on curve. Really big card, would recommend to put it in your deck for sure. And we got Roban, Bull of Alamigo, 2/2, legendary creature, Human Warrior, ward, pay life equal to Roban's power, so you would have to pay 2 to target him. Whenever Roban attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target attacking creature. So this one is as well helping you to attach stuff so you don't have to pay the equipment costs. Our boy Cypher Almazi for 4 mana, legendary creature, Human Knight with a 3/4 body. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone and gains double strike until end of turn, kinda like Squall. Fire Cross, whenever Cypher Almazi deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target not instant or sorcery card with mana value 3 or less from a graveyard without paying its mana cost. So that's the kicker of this card. If that spell would put into the graveyard, exile it instead. So I think it's alone makes him a definitely good pick for your deck. Next we got Summon GF Cerberus for 4 mana, 3/3. First away 1. Second, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Triple, when next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it twice. You may choose new targets for the copy. So imagine having this on board and shooting all the damage, having the wizards. I know it's a lot of mental gymnastic and synergy theory crafting crap, but yeah, I would love to see how it plays out, and I'm pretty sure it could work out. Lightning Security Sergeant, really strong. For 3 mana, 2/3, has Menace. That means she can only be blocked by 2 creatures. So if she's alone on the board, your opponent has only 1 creature he can't block. And yeah, don't forget, your opponent has only 20 HP. You can melt those down pretty fast with red. Whenever Lightning deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control Lightning. So this one's also pretty big. And if you have something that reduces cost or you have mana left, that's big. And we got the beautiful mythic that we most likely will never see in this event. We got Clive, Ifrit's Dominant for 6 mana, 5/5, legendary creature, Human Noble Warrior. When he enters, you may discard your hand, then draw cards equal to your devotion to red. So that means stuff that has red costs on the board. So you will have at least him on the board, and that means 6 cards to you and potential other stuff that's on the board. For 6 and tap, you can exile Clive, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as sorcery. We get Ifrit, Warden of Inferno. With Lunge, Ifrit fights up to one other target creature. Brimstone, add 4 red. If Ifrit has 3 or more lore counters on it, exile it, then return it to the battlefield. So yeah, for 9/9, that boy, if he's on the board, the enemy is probably dead. Banger card. Nibelheim Flame, also beautiful artwork you will not see in these play boosters, but in the collectors if you're lucky. For 4 we get a sorcery, choose target creature you control, it deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, discard your hand and draw 4 cards. So it also has flashback for 7. Those are the costs to play it from the graveyard. You get a clean board wipe if you have a big boy on board, and awesome artwork. I would recommend it, but we also have other possibilities that are in lower rarities for board wipes, so take it easy. That's it for red. Continuing with the black cards, we got Black Mage's Rod for 2 mana and artifact equipment with job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, has whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Again, we got a mini Vivi as also a wizard equipped for free. Big value in my opinion for 2 mana for an common, really not bad. Then we got Malboro for 6 mana for 4, probably how my lungs are looking like. Creature Plant Horror with Bad Breath. When this creature enters, each opponent discards a card, loses 2 life and exiles the top 3 cards of the library. Also has Swamp Cycling for 2, pay 2, discard and search for a swamp and put it in your hand. So yeah, maybe not the best value card, but I just had to mention it for the name and for my lungs. RIP. Then we have our Namazu Trader for 4/3/4 creature, Fish Citizen. When he enters, you lose 1 life, create a treasure token. Think that's big. For 4, you get a 3/4 and 1 mana back. And when he attacks, you can so whale for 2, but you have to sacrifice another creature or an artifact. But just for his body, play him on curve and having 1 treasure token for next turn and having potentially a 6-drop, really good. Then we have Sephiroth's Intervention for 4 mana, destroy target creature, you gain 2 life as an instant and a common. I think that's pretty good and can come in handy for sure. Undercity Dire Red for 2 mana, creature red 2/2 with a red tail. When this creature dies, create a treasure token. That's really neat. You get a good bang for your mana. Cornered by Black Mages for 3, sorcery, target opponent sacrifice a creature of their choice, create a 0/1 Black Wizard creature token. With whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. 3 mana is really good. Wayne's Treachery for 2 mana, instant, target creature gets -2 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, creature gets -6/-6. So you have to sacrifice an artifact or creature to do that, but I think this one's also pretty good removal. As well, like Overkill for 3 mana, you can most likely destroy a creature. Titus is checking out Wacker's new sword. Then we have Tonberry for 1 mana, creature, Salamander Horror 2/1. He enters tap with a stun counter, means he doesn't untap next time, but when he untaps, he's ready to fight. He brought his knife, his chef's knife. During your turn, this creature has first strike and death touch. So he's pretty good, really strong and annoying to deal with, but most likely your opponent will just let it go through and never defend against it because of the first strike and death touch. And unfortunately, he only has this effect during your turn, but still a good play, I think. You get a 2/1 for 1 mana, you get some board presence. He will be untapped, but there are worst turn 1 plays, so I wanted to mention him and also like the art. Then we have a personal favorite, Summon Anima for 6 mana, Menace with 4/4, get 3 rounds of pain, draw a card and lose a life. Then we have Oblivion on 4, each opponent sacrifice a creature of their choice and loses 3 life. So I just love to see this summon. Amazing artwork. Evil Reawakened for 5 mana, sorcery, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So this is your possibility to resurrect a banger card from your graveyard. Then we have Ninja's Blades for 3, also job select, not enough space to print it out. Equipped creature gets 1/1, is a ninja in addition to its other types, has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. That player loses life equal to the discarded card's mana value. So you pay life to draw cards. There's worse stuff out there. And for a black player, there's also some rewards for losing life. And also possibilities to come back, so it's not that bad, and you get great value in my opinion. Then we have another crystal, the Darkness Crystal, for 4 mana, reduces cost by 1. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. Then for 6 mana and tapping, put target creature card exiled with the Darkness Crystal onto the battlefield, tap under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So if you can make it happen, that's really big, and I think the black decks can make it happen, and it's really value town when you get this bitch down and play the black deck, because there are so many good cards, and there's definitely also potential to play black, red, black, blue, really strong card, and a lot of possibilities. So it depends on your pools. If you have a lot of black cards and a lot of dimension cards, you can definitely make something happen out of that. Then we have Zodiarch, Umbral God, for 5 black, legendary creature god, indestructible. When he enters, each player sacrifices half the non-god creatures they control of their choice, rounded down. When your opponent has at least 2 creatures that make sense to play. Also, when a player sacrifices another creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. So if he has 2, you play this dude, he sacrifices 1 and you get a +1/+1 counter. So you get technically a 6/6. Then we got Jack's Reluctant Guardian. I think this one's also really badass card. For 4, you get a 4/3 with Menace. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. And what do we get? Braska's Final Aeon. Each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Ultimate Jack chart. Each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. Has Menace as well and 7/7 body. So that's really huge, and this artwork is just... this is definitely needed in foil. Hope to pull this one. It's looking really crazy. Having these would be crazy good. So yeah, put it in your deck if you get it. Then we have Summon Primal Odin for 6. We get a 5/3 enchantment creature with the saga, destroy target creature an opponent controls. That's already big. This creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. That's even bigger. Hall of Sorrow, draw 2 cards, each player loses the life. So yeah, this one made my eyebrows raise the highest, because just reading that effect is silly, but if this dude comes through, you just win the game. So yeah, definitely a win condition just having this one. Cecile, Dark Knight for 1, pretty cheap. Death Touch, whenever he deals damage, you lose that much life. So that's the hook. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecile and transform it. So that's good. Then we get Lifelink, protect whenever he attacks. Other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So again, if you can make it happen to lose that life quickly, get the tempo out of this card and the value, amazing card, really good. And having a 4/4 with Lifelink is nasty. Xenos, Yay Galvus for 5, legendary creature, human noble warrior 4/4. My first friend. When he enters, choose a creature an opponent controls. Until end of turn, creature other than him and the chosen creature gets -2/-2. So you make a duel with a creature and all the others get -2/-2. When the chosen creature that was kind of dueled, the battlefield transform. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, so after you have chosen a creature, it dies, transform this dude here. And then you get Shinryu, Transcendent Rival, legendary creature dragon with 8/8 flying. As this creature transforms into Shinryu, choose an opponent. When the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. So that's more fun in the commander part, but even here in this event, I think having an 8/8 flying is good enough and doesn't require you to lose someone to win. So just go for this one and swing with 8. Then we have a Personal Nightmare. I really hated this boss, and it made me train or level so much like the old Pokemon days when you had to go back and train your lame old Pokemon. We got 5 legendary creature spirit avatar at the beginning of your upkeep. You may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a 1/1 counter on Seam of Flux. And he already comes in with 5/5. So yeah, that's really big. You play him. After your next upkeep, he has 6/6 and you have card draw. That's really big. Put it in. Then we have Arden the Usurper for 8 mana. I wasn't sure if I should mention it, if the games will be long enough for 8 mana, but if there is some possibilities with mana dogs, or I don't know, you're just playing long ass game. This one is also really good. Or if you have a control-y deck, if you can survive like the first 5-6 rounds, maybe. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink and Haste. Star Scourge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to one target creature card from a graveyard. If you exiled a card this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 5/5 black demon. And guess what? Comes in with Menace, Lifelink and Haste. So that's really big value. Highly recommend, but only if your deck can survive like 5-6 turns and the opponents you're facing are not super aggressive. Can have it on the side, of course. You can switch your cards as you wish. Yeah, check out the event and see if you can make it happen. Then we have the absolute banger, Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, 3 mana, free, legendary creature, human avatar soldier. When he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. When another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has revolved this turn, this transforms Sephiroth and gains Sephiroth 1 winged angel, legendary creature, angel nightmare avatar, flying, supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth 1 winged angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. When he attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. So that's really amazing and big. If you have the luck to pull him, congratulations, also really good. But I think he on his own can't win you a whole game. I mean, he gets really strong in the late game, of course, but there are other cards that don't need that much synergy and rely on other cards, because in the mid-end game you will not have that many cards to draw. Of course, you will get through this card draw, but it might be too late at that point, and just having that 5/5 flying to defend for 1 hit might be too late, but also can win you games. Moving on with Dwarven Castle Guard. For 2 mana we get a 2/1. When he dies we get a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. Paladin's Arms we get for 3 mana. Artifact equipment with job select. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, has ward 1 and is a knight in addition to its other types. Lightbringer and Hero Shield equipped for 4. So yeah, that's good for a common, not bad. As I mentioned, those job select cards, I think they're pretty good, and there is synergy with artifacts and equipment. If you got a lot of those, as you have seen in red already. We got Weapons Vendor. For 4 mana we get a 2/2. Looks bad on first, but when this creature enters, draw a card. That's huge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an equipment, you may pay 1. When you do, attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. So that's easy. Only pay 1. That's huge. Can help you a lot if you have like 5 mana open. Play this dude and pay the 1. Easy. White Aura Seed. For 4 mana we get an artifact. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. Tap for white. So we get a mana dork as well with this artifact, and we get an easy removal until this artifact leaves the battlefield, but there should not be so much removal, but take care, of course. There is white mage stuff for 2. Artifact equipment, also job select. Creature gets +1/+1. Whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life and is a cleric in addition to its other types, equipped for 3. So value wise, those cards are definitely recommendable, and you should as well check your mana base. Maybe this is the point to talk about this as well. You want to have enough cards of each mana in your curve, so you can always play us on something on turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and so on. Next we got You're Not Alone. For 1 instant, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more creatures, it gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So this one can help you to make a good trade, make really good trades in both turns, in yours or your opponent's. That one is not bad for 1. You get Dragoon's Lands. For 2 mana, artifact equipment, job select as well. Creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. And here's the kicker: during your turn, equipped creature has flying as well. Flying is pretty big. There's not too many reach cards out there, and you can easily chip down your enemy. Gay Bulk equipped for 4. Next one's pretty big. We will not see this art in the play boosters again, again, but I just wanted to use those. Got crystal fragments for 1 white, artifact equipment. If a creature gets 1/1 +1/+1 for 7, exile this equipment, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as sorcery for 1. And then we get Summon Alexander. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn, like for the next 2 turns. This turn when played and the next turn after your draw step. Third will be tap all creatures your opponents control. So this one might be a really big preparation for a swing at your opponent. If you're playing tokens or if you have a big boy on board, you know that you can tap all creatures your opponents control at the third, and this dude by himself has already flying with 4/3, so I would definitely put this in my deck if I get it, and the rarities uncommon, that's possible. Next we got Summon Primal Garuda. For 4 mana we get a 3/3 flying Aerial Blast. On 1, this creature deals 4 damage to target tapped creature and opponent controls. This is pretty good, so you get for 4 mana 4 damage, 3/3 flying, and then on 2 and 3 another target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. So as well, already mentioned, flying is really good. Just having this on a creature and going at your opponent is really strong. Next we got our boy Adalbert Steiner. For 2 mana 2/1 lifelink, gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control, and as you have seen, there is plenty of them. Good value. Freshly added battle menu. For 2 mana instant, choose 1. Attack. Create a 2/2 white knight creature token. Ability. Target creature gets 0 and 4 until end of turn. Magic. Destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater. Item, you gain 4 life. So I love this card a lot because it's super situational. You can choose what you need in that moment. Especially destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater is winking at me and looking really nice, but also if you just need one of those other options, you can go for them. For 2 mana instant, insanely good. Machinist Arsenal. For 4 mana and a white, we get an artifact equipment as well job select, and creature gets +2/+2 for each artifact you control and is an artificer in addition to its other types. So this is a card like Sit Timeless Artificer. There's 16 different types of this dude and you can have X amount of them in your deck. That's if you got him 16 times, just throw him in 16 times. It's a no-brainer. But there's also other synergies with Artificer and Machina equipped for 4. Next is Ultima. For 5 mana sorcery, destroy all artifacts and creatures end the turn. Just a complete vibe, and also your own stuff, but can help you when you're really in dire situation. Next we got our boy Dion, Bahamut Dominant. For 4 mana 3/3 legendary creature, human noble knight. Dragonfire dive. During your turn, Dian and the other knights you control have flying. When Dian enters, create a 2/2 white knight creature token that will get also flying. For 6 mana and tapping, exile Dion, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as sorcery. We will getting Bahamut, Warden of Light, Wings of Light. Put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until end of turn. And we get Giga Flare, destroy target permanent, exile Bahamut, then return it to the battlefield front face up, flying 5/5. So this is big. Those cards are a must put in. Then we have Rosa, Resolute, White Mage. For 4 mana, legendary creature, human noble cleric. Reach, really strong. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn and has a 2/3 body that can be easily buffed with other stuff. Then we have Beatrix, Loyal General. For 6 mana, 4/4 Vigilance, means that she doesn't tap when she attacks. I mean, she does, but then she untaps again and is ready to defend in your turn. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. So that's big. Free attachment, that's what you get. Then we have our best pull, I think, in the whole set. If you got this dude, you have to automatically just put it in. Cloud Midgar Mercenary. For 2 mana, we get a legendary creature, human soldier mercenary with 2/1. When Cloud enters, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. As as long as Cloud is equipped. If an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, the ability triggers an additional time. So that's really strong, and we will see some artifacts where you can imagine how big this will be, and for 2 mana this is just a no-brainer. Insanely strong, good card. Moving on with blue, we got Dragoon's Wyvern for 3 mana, creature Drake, flying. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 creature token and has 2/1. Pretty good. We have an Ice Flan, 6 mana, 5/4. Also one of those island cycling creatures where you can pay 2, discard this card, and search for a island. When this creature enters, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So that means it will not be untapped the next time. Helps you to swing or to just tap out a card that is annoying and remove it for a round. For a common, pretty solid. Then we have Ice Magic for 2, kind of like fire magic. We have an instant with the costs ranging from 0 to 6. You can return target creature to its owner's hand. Target creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of the library. Target creature's owner shuffles it into their library. So can be a good removal for a single card. I think the other ones are not really worth it, except maybe for 2, but 6 is rarely necessary, I think, but still a good card as an instant. If you have some mana open, why not to throw this one in? Then we have Syncopate for X blue instant. We have a counterspell which our opponent has to pay the cost of our X. So if you're putting 3 X and 1 blue, then he has to pay 3. Then it will be destroyed and exiled. Next is Stuck in Summoner Sanctum for 3. Enchantment Aura, flash, means can be played as an instant. Enchant artifact or creature. When this aura enters, tap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So you just put a kabash on a card from your opponent and that's it for 3 mana. Absolutely worth it if you can deny something big. Eject for 4, we get an instant. This spell can't be countered. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand and draw a card. Pretty good, can help you in a dire situation as well. For a uncommon, not bad. Realm Sketching for 4, we got an sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature or land, and in combination with the next one we have Sleep Magic, 1 mana, enchantment aura, enchant creature. When this aura enters, tap enchanted creature. For example, you can put Sleep Magic on the creature of your opponent, make a copy of it. I know this is like synergy wise, but this is like I could imagine this working. But when damage is applied to the sleeping creature, this aura will be removed. Then we have Summon Shiva. Damn, I love also these sequences, summoning her in Final Fantasy X. We pay 5 and get a 4/5. Heavenly Strike, tap target creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. So we got again this effect. Diamond Dust, draw a card for each tap creature on your opponent's control. So also a huge card draw, plus you have the opportunity to tap also your opponent's creatures and put a stun counter on it. Swallowed by Leviathan for 3 mana, instant, choose target spell. So Whale 2. That means you can choose to put those cards on the graveyard from the library, then counter the chosen spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. So you can put at least 2 cards on the graveyard. So he will have to pay 2, and maybe you will have already more cards in your graveyard at this point, and this card will be cheaper. So that can be useful for sure. So we got Astrologians, Planisphere for 2. Artifact equipment, job select. Creature is a wizard in addition to its other types and has whenever cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So I'm not sure about drawing your 3rd card, but casting non-creature spell for sure, and you can equip for 2. Then we got Summon Leviathan for 6. Return, and it comes with War 2, 6/6. Return each creature that isn't a Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus or Serpent to its owner's hand. So you kind of can clear the board unless your opponent has all that stuff on it. But yeah, I'm not sure how many people will play blue and how many of those creatures will be on the board, but I think this one's still very good. For 6, you get a 6/6 War 2 until end of turn. Whenever Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus or Serpent attacks, draw a card. So even if he has those you will be punished and you will get a card draw, or you can attack with yours. Then we got Jill. She was dominant for 3 mana, 2/2, absolutely strong. When she enters, return up to one other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand for 5, and tapping, exile her, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as sorcery, and we get Shiva, Warden of Ice with 4/5, mesmerize, target creature can't be blocked this turn, tap all lands your opponents control, exile Shiva, then return it to the battlefield front face up. Let me butcher that name. Louis Wax, sacrifice for 1 blue instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a legendary creature or pay 2. So maybe you think of 3 mana cost. Counter target, activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. So as a blue player, you know this should also find a way into your deck. And the last one, we got Ultimecia, Temporal Threat for 6. Has a 4/4 body, legendary creature, human warlock. When she enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So again, you can just tap all your opponent's creatures, sabotage his whole gameplay and idea of playing the game, just constantly tapping out those creatures, attack, draw cards. Yeah, blue looks also really strong. Finally, our green card selections. We got Balamp T-Rexor for 6 mana, 6/6, trample, big boy. When he enters, you get also 3 life. And if you don't need to do it, you can just cycle it for 2 and get a forest from your deck. Then we have Commune with Beavers for 1 green sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or land card from among them and put it under your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this can come in handy if you just want to make sure to draw the right cards and have the right cards available for your mid-range plan or whatever. This one can come in handy. Chocobo Kick for 2 mana, sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. If the spell was kicked, the creature you control deals twice that much damage instead. So ideally we would play this card in the turn where we haven't played a land yet, so you can return a land you control to your hand and then play it out again, so you kind of don't lose the land on your board, and the effect is pretty good. Then we have Gigantoad for 4 mana, Creature Frog for 4. Alone the body is alright for the 4 mana, and when we got 7 lands or more, this creature gets +2/+2, so it's also a good helpful card for the late game. Then we have Reach the Horizon for 4. Sorcery, search your library for up to basic land cards and or town cards with different names, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So in this case, we are ramping really hard for 4 mana. We're just producing 2 tapped lands, but we'll make those lands available the next turn. Plus, we have a lot of landfall. That means whenever a land enters the battlefield, this effect will be applied or will be triggered. Depends on what we have on board. Just playing this on turn 4 and nothing else, and having nothing else going on your board is pretty dangerous. So yeah, take care when you play this. Make sure you have some landfall action going or something on your board, but you will be really good prepared for the next round. Then we got Clash of the Icons for 1 green, sorcery, choose 1 or more, target creature you control fights target creature and opponent controls. You can just make a duel and destroy the other one. Remove a lore counter from target saga you control, put a lore counter on target saga you control. So you can make a progress or make the progress returned. Depends on your game plan or what's going on, but I think for 1 green this one's really good, especially letting you fight another creature and you have a big boy on board. That's really good. Then we have Torgal, a fine hound for 2 legendary creature wolf, has 2/2 body. Whenever you cast your first human creature spell each turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each dog and or wolf you control. And additionally, add 1 mana of any color functioning as a mana dog. This one's really huge if you have some synergies with humans and other dogs or wolves possible. And we got Summon Fenrir for 3. A 3/2 enchantment creature. Search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. We get some ramp action. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. Saga has it all. You get some mana, you get some counter, you get some card draw. Just make sure you're the biggest boy on board. Then we have Sash Shokubo, creature bird with 0/1, and that's what I was talking about. It has landfall. Whenever land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So I love landfall. I have few decks with Yarok and with Averna, and it's just so much fun, and you get a lot of value out of it if you can. And just having for 1 green and the potential of playing several lands after it can make it definitely work and make this card also a value engine. Coliseum Behemoth for 7 mana. We get a 7/7 creature beast with trample. When this creature enters, choose one, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or draw a card. So these boys eventually can win you games. Diamond Weapon for 9 mana, 8/8. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent card in your graveyard, has reach, and is immune. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Diamond Weapon. So I think this one is absolutely a must put in if you go for green and you have pulled this dude. Then we got Sash Katsroy for 4 mana, legendary creature, human pilot, 3/3, a rare. When he enters, you may search your library for a bird, basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. When he attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, then double the number of 1/1 counters on a creature. So that's also pretty big. Lets you find a land or a bird. I'm not sure if the synergy for birds is doable after 6 play boosters. If you get many of those traveling chocobos or whatever birds, you can maybe make it happen. Plays a lot of lands, get a landfall. I'm not sure yet, but I think this one's definitely a value engine as well and helps you to cycle for birds, for land cards. Land is always good, and also helping you to put counters on your creatures. Then we got another crystal, the Earth Crystal for 4 mana. Green spells cost 1 less to cast. If 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on a creature instead. So we got a doubling season included into that. For 6 mana and tapping, distribute 2 1/1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. So if you have nothing to play late game, you can also create 2 1/1 counters, which will be doubled of course. Then we have an absolute meme banger. We got a Jumbo Cactura, 7 mana, 1/7 creature plant, 10k needles. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +9999 +0 until end of turn. So this card can just win your game ridiculously. I would put it in just for the memes and also just add trample to it and just stomp the enemy. This would be a really fun win condition if you can make it happen. Unfortunately, we will not get this artwork of it, but I think this one's awesome and I need to get this one just for the +99.99. Then we got a Realm Reborn for 6 mana. Other permanents you control have add 1 mana of any color. I think this one's really crazy to give all your permanents the ability of a mana dork and produce a mana. So you can really make this stuff happen in the late game. But again, it's a rare, and again, it's a sealed event. Maybe it's too greedy to go for stuff like that, but if you can make a control deck happen and you don't have so many 6 cost cards or something worth playing, this one's definitely consideration. We got Esper Origins for 2 mana sorcery. So whale 2, you gain 2 life. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, exile it, then put it on the battlefield transformed under its owner's control with a finality counter on it. And you can cast it for 4 as a flashback. Then we got Summon Titan, 5 mana, mill 5 cards, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tab. That's huge. Being a 7/7 reach trample guy, fighting birds, drakes, wyverns, and whatever is flying, angels. Until end of turn, another target creature you control gains trample and gets XX, where X is the number of lands you control. So that's really good news for you, bad news for the opponent. That's what I was talking about. By with green, it has so much potential if you're ramping early and you got the mana for stuff like that. That's really huge. Summon Titan is one of my favorite summons. Alright, then let's take a look at the neutral cards we got. We got Lionheart for 4 artifact equipment. When it enters, it deals 2 damage to any target. I like to have the possibility of shooting 2 damage if there's something nasty. Legendary creature that is completely destroying your game plan, this can help you. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and the equip costs are 2. Iron Giant for 7 has a 6/6 body, plus he got Vigilance, Reach and Trample, so he has all the good keywords we can use in a tournament like that. Absolutely a useful card and should find a way into your deck. Relentless X80M 092 for 6 has 6/5, is an artifact creature, robot spider. This creature can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. So moving into the late game, having a boy like that on board and threatening 6 at your opponent. Then we got Ultima, Origin of the Oblivion for 5, legendary creature guard, flying. Whenever Ultima attacks, put a blight counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and abilities and has tap at neutral. Whenever you tap a land for neutral, add an additional neutral. Having 4/4 flying and ramping your mana is really good if you're having the necessity to play neutral. Then we got Magitech Scythe for 4 mana, artifact equipment, a test of your reflexes. When this equipment enters, you may attach it to target creature you control. If you do, that creature gains first strike until end of turn and must be blocked this turn if able. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, equipped for 2. So yeah, this one's also really good to remove enemy threats. Just make it block your big boy. In best case, you also have some trample going or something. Then we got the Ultima weapon for 7, legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature and opponent controls. Equipped creature gets +7/+7, equipped for 7. So that's a dream. If you can equip this one for free, cards we already mentioned. Yeah, I think this card is just a banger. Just destroying target creature and opponent controls and swinging with 7/7 is huge. And we got A-tier and Priven for 6. Equipped creature has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total and not your ex-girlfriend. Equipped for 5. Those cards will most likely not pulled by us. I just wanted to mention those. If you see those, I would definitely play them. Another one is Buster Sword for 3. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. So even if you attack with 0, you get +3. You can play something with mana value of 3 or less. Most likely your creature will have 1 or 2 or something. And yeah, big boy moves, equip it for 2. Again, if you pull it, congratulations. Then we got one of my personal favorites, Summon Bahamut. I also love this summon. Destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent on Lord 1 and 2. On 3 we got draw 2 cards. Mega Flare, this creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. So this is just madness. Playing for 9, having 9/9, flying, all these lures, and this is just crazy good. So if you got this, again, congratulations. I think this one's right now at 15-20 bucks and foil 30 or something. Not sure how the prices will be after the release, but yeah, this one's a really banger mythic. And the last section we got are the mixed cards. We start with Omega Heartless Evolution for 7, legendary artifact creature robot wave cannon. When he enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that the opponent controls, put X stun counters on each of those permanents and you gain X life, where X is the number of non-basic lands you control. So this one is also a possibility to just outmaneuver your opponent, tap everything and give you a huge advantage. Of course it's 7, but it has 8/8 body. If he is on board, your opponent has definitely a hard time, so consider this when you like the green and blue cards. Then we got Zidane Tantalus Teeth for 5, legendary creature, human mutant scout. When he enters, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it, it gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. So also big swing potential if you get the opponent's creature. It's like Change of Heart or Soul Exchange, I'm not sure how it was. You take the creature from your opponent, you can sacrifice it, attack it. This one will have haste and lifelink. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, you create a treasure token for that. This will not be used that much, I think, but the first effect is great. Then we got our Sid Timeless Artificer, what I was talking about. We got 16 versions of this dude. I chose this one from Final Fantasy X. Legendary creature, human artificer. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. card. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid Timeless Artificer. Cycling for 2, discard this card, draw a card. So potentially you can just discard this and go for your other 15 dudes. I'm not sure if this is working, but if you have 16 of those, just try it out. Don't trust me. You got the Emperor of Palamezia for 2. Red and blue also seems pretty cool. Legendary creature, human noble wizard. Add blue or red, spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell, so we get a mana dork. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a 1/1 counter on the Emperor. Then if it has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it, transform it into the Lord Master of Hell. Legendary creature, Demon Noble Wizard, Starfall. Whenever the Lord Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. Also pretty big, having this for 2 mana, gaining a mana dork, getting so much value out of it. Another value engine, we got Gladiolus Amicitia. Sorry for butchering that. He got 6 mana, 6/6, legendary creature, human warrior. When he enters, search your library for a land card, put it on the battlefield tab, get a nice little ramp going. Also, effect that's gonna be triggered after you ramp. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2, gains trample until end of turn. So I think this one's not the worst card to play for 6, getting some ramp. Also not the best, but being a common, having solid stats, getting some value, I think this one's not bad. Then we got Ignis Scientia for 3. Also not the best, but can be situational and fit in the colors that you are playing if you're going for green, blue. When he enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tab. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I've come up with a new recipe. Pay 3, tap, exile target card from graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, create a food token. So that's maybe not the best effect, only if you're struggling in the late game, but having that mini ramp is never bad. Rufus Shinra for 3 mana, legendary creature, human noble. Whenever he attacks, if you don't control a creature named Dogstar, create Dogstar, a legendary 2/2 white and black dog creature token. So I think to get some board presence and prevent you from getting rushed down, this one's really strong, creating you a 2/2 which you can use to block with and create another one. If he dies, you cannot create another one if he is existing. That's a good card to get some board presence. Then we got Look Cole for 3, blue black, also really good. I will show you something later that's also amazing. Blue black, legendary creature, human rogue, death touch, lifelink, really good. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. Huge. We got Tito's Blitzball Star for 3. You got a legendary creature, human warrior. When an artifact you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on Tito's. When he attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls. So he's just moving past that creature and attacking your opponent. That's big. Next we got Joshua Phoenix Dominant for 3 mana, legendary creature, human noble wizard with 3/4. When he enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. So you can also discard only 1 and draw 1. For 5 mana, tap, exile him, return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only a sorcery, getting Phoenix Warden of Fire. Rising Flames, Phoenix deals 2 damage to each opponent, good board wipe. No, this is just direct damage, my bad, not to each target. Return any number of target creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, exile Phoenix, then return it back to front face up. Flying, lifelink for 4, that's amazing. So I really like those reverse cards, they're really huge. If you can make those work in your cards without dying and get a solid board, I believe those will be game changers. Next on the menu is Squall, Seed Mercenary for 4 mana, legendary creature, human knight mercenary, Rough Divide. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. Whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So he can't fight alone, but he gets his boys back from the graveyard. Really solid dude for 4, 3/4, nice effect. Next we got Xandi, Dark Mage for 4 mana, blue black, is a menace, gets +1/+1 for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard. I think this one's also definitely a mention worth. I know it's a rare, but if you get him, he can get really strong and get out of hand because he got menace. Having those keywords on your creatures really big. Next we got Lightning Army of 1, Syrian Army, 3 mana, 3/2, legendary creature, human soldier, first strike, trample, lifelink, got stagger when she deals combat damage to a player until your next turn. If a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent the player controls, it deals double that damage instead. I think that's double damn. But it's a mythic. Most likely we will never see this card in this event. If you see her, you're goddamn lucky. Put it in and try to smash your opponent with all those wizards and start shooting and double that damage. I think there's even more crazy synergies, but at least this is coming right into my head. Really big. Then we got Absolute Virtue for 8/8/8. Can't be countered, has flying. You have protection from each of your opponents. So this is a one-ring legendary avatar warrior that's gonna win you games if you survive that long. Really big boy, is a mythic, definitely strong, put it in if you got it. Then we got another one that I think might be not the best card in this format, being that strong, but I think we will see a lot of VV gameplay in future in Commander parts because this card is just absolutely amazing. So we got 3 mana, 0/3 legendary creature wizard for 0. Add X mana in any combination of blue or red, where X is VV Archetypes power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on VV on your turn and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So playing one non-creature spell already activates himself to generate mana. Of course not in the very first round. This one I think is the baddest beast. Sephiroth planets here for 6 mana, blue black, 4/4, has vigilance. When he enters, creatures your opponent control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Sephiroth. So I think if your opponent is playing some tokens or has anything else on board and you can wipe that and absorb it with Sephiroth, this is absolute game changer. So you get a board clear, plus he get huge gains from potential deaths. This is just amazing, having a 6/4/4 and hopefully getting like 1 or 2 creatures to get the value back for 6/6. Plus he has vigilance. That's just crazy creature if it's on board and hard to remove. Last card to mention is Emmet Selch, Unsundered for 3 mana. Elder Wizard has also vigilance. Whenever it enters or attacks, draw a card and discard a card at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, and you may transform Emmet Selch. So that's the point I was thinking about putting this card into this review, because maybe it's hard to get those 14 cards, but if you're doing some mill action, you can get there. When we transform it, we get Hades, Sorcerer of Eld, Avatar, Vigilance. During your turn, you may play cards from your graveyard. If a card or token would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So yeah, this can also just help you finish the game, getting control of the late game and winning your games for sure. So yeah, depending on the mill action and stuff sending to the graveyard, this card makes sense. But on the other hand, it's also a mythic and pretty unlikely to be pulled, but if you get it, you know what it is and how good it is. The golden rule: don't build your deck around cards you hope to pull, build it around cards you are likely to see multiple times. Your commons and uncommons win games, the mythics just make them flashy. I hope this review was helpful, or at least prevented you from building a terrible deck and having a negative experience. If you pull Cloud, congratulations, take some cool photos in front of the LGS. Good luck at your pre-release, may your rares be playable, your mana base stable, and your opponents not playing Sephiroth turn 3. If you found this helpful, drop a like, it helps more than a limit break in top deck mode. Subscribe for more TCG content and let me know in the comments what absurd combo you are hoping to pull off at your pre-release. Peace!